How do I teach grammar through my homeschool village? Okay, love this question. Number one, if your child is copywriting and reading anything they want, most of your grammar is covered. Now, everybody, like not everybody, I've had a lot of people come at me on this, but I can honestly say I've watched all five of my kids. I tried the grammar books, and yeah, they did the work, and it was a checkbox, but I didn't see their grammar improve. My kids whose grammar did really, really well wrote in a journal every day. So you go from copy work to writing in a journal every day to then creating stories and books and whatever. So once my children who wrote every day and copy worked and then read as much as they wanted and did type C. So my 14-year-old just came to me and said, Mom, thank you for making me do type C. He's like, because when they're doing type C, it's also copy work and they're typing copy work. And that's where my kids learned the capitals and the periods and the commas, and that because type C is actually built for this. So if they're doing type C, you got grammar covered. Now, how far you want into it to go into it is up to you. But here's why I go light on grammar. When I started homeschooling a long time ago, 20 years ago, we were in a co-op, and I was in a co-op with a woman who had raised 6 children. They were all adults, and then she had a straggler who was the same age as my oldest, and they were babies together, and they went and did co-ops together. Her kids all had books in their pockets all the time. Her adults would come in and go. They all were completely unschooled for the like this was one hippie family, guys. It was awesome. They were totally unschooled their whole lives, but they read everything. All her kids went to college, and she said her daughter was in college and got a letter from her professor, her language arts or writing professor, asking what she did as a homeschool parent to make her child so well educated. Her child was getting the top grades in all of their grammar, language arts, writing classes. And this professor was blown away. And he goes, What are you doing? And she goes, I just let them read whenever they wanted, period. They read whatever, whenever, however they read. And all their kids constantly carrying books with them, read whenever they wanted, and were testing top in their college classes in grammar, writing, reading, all of those things. So she said, I've never taught grammar ever. That blew my mind. And I got to be honest, at the time, I'm like, no way. But I need grammar. My kids are going to. And guess what? My kids that did grammar, I had one kid who I was like, do your grammar books, do your grammar books. In the end, all she did was learn to hate writing. My other kids went from copy work to journaling to writing their own stories and books. And most of my children right now are writing books on their own and stories. And they went into it at later years, and they wrote later, they did it later, but none of them hated writing. They love it. All my kids love writing, which shocks me because I grew up hating writing because I got tired of putting my heart and soul into a story and then somebody tearing it apart for grammar instead of looking at the story. And I was like, yeah. I may have forgotten the capital here, but did you read the story? No, they went over the grammar. And so I learned to hate it. So my whole goal as a homeschool parent was I just wanted to keep my kids loving to write. As long as they love it, they will pursue it on their own. So don't worry so much about, are they learning grammar? What you need to ask yourself is, are they learning to love to read and write? If they learn to love to read and write, their grammar takes care of itself. And I know that's a faith. I'm asking you to have faith in my experience and the experience of other moms I've seen. There's any mom I've talked to who has homeschooled all the way through eventually switched to copyright and journaling, and their kids are beautiful writers.